Nice. That was good.
Alright guys, I'm just gonna sink in. We don't need to sink.
We don't need to sink. Oh, you have to sink. Yeah.
You always have
Where did the tape measure go? Who has it? Oh, it's right beside you. Oh, yeah.
to. You would have been the last one to.
Yeah.
How you're losing it.
Just kidding. Oh, God.
What are we measuring?
How much whiskey did you have?
Let's 6 feet on here.
You gotta go up to it first.
You can't see it if it's not 6 feet out. Alright, there we go. Alright.
Is it 6 feet from your crotches or your mouth or what?
What kind of disease are we transmitting here?
But we want to make sure that we're doing this podcast safely. Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be.
Oh, don't touch that part. There we go.
Don't take your fingers in your mouth again, Joe.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I just
Safety
have to
first.
I just have to lean away from it. I can't be visible in
We don't want to see you. It's okay.
Perfect. What? That whole interchange was just wild. Wow.
So,
Like asking for trouble.
I know. Let me just roll it out here.
I'm not a blessed child, you know.
This is the best start we've had yet.
Uh,
Mom's gonna be proud of that.
Nice.
Fiery start.
Fire start, great environment.
I
You
don't even
know.
know if I want camera.
You want me to go see real quick? Might as well. All right. Just some
See
technical
you there, Hao-Yi.
difficulties. Yeah.
Don't breathe my air.
Alright, so episode 7
We got rid of
Oh yeah, we can see Joe.
just my nose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're-
fully on it.
Yeah, you're in there. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're in.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Oh, I hit it. I hit it. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Alright, we got
Joe.
Cody.
Howie.
I'm Tommy. And this is Stronger Through Humor, episode 7.
7.
Did I say 7 last time?
I don't know.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Like last
No, we said
episode?
6 because we
Did I
talked
say
about
six?
we
We
never
did
thought
6.
we'd make it past 5.
Ah,
Now
so this
we're-
is another PR.
PR.
We're now at 7.
PR,
Now
huge one.
7.
Yeah.
Good thing I can't keep track of 7. Holy. It's gonna be
7, a lucky number.
lucky number 6. You know what they say.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, we got a dynamite podcast lined up in the queue today. It's still Nutrition Month, although there's a few other things that people may have seen in the news. Depending where you are, you may have seen a few things.
Depending where you are. Global event.
Depending where you are, you know,
Is there?
if there's effect.
Yeah.
Is there a corner of the earth?
Is there COVID-19 in Ethiopia or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Search it up.
Search it out.
But yeah, we got Howie wanted to start off with some questions.
Which I absolutely prepared in advance.
Yeah.
He's Googling right now. I can see his phone.
Yeah, COVID-19
Questions to ask myself during a podcast.
Ethiopia. Yeah, there's COVID in Ethiopia.
I feel
How
like
much?
that's
How
gonna
much
be-
COVID?
Yeah, how much?
How much COVID in Ethiopia? 11. There's 11.
11 COVID. 11 COVID.
According to New Business Ethiopia, 3 days ago, the
That's a
number
weird
of
place to
affected people-
advertise it.
Business?
Business?
Hey,
Yeah.
business.
Small businessman.
Yeah, 11. 11.
11 deaths or confirmed cases.
Confirmed cases, no deaths. Which is
11
good.
COVIDs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go to.
Shout out to Ethiopia.
Yeah, they're locking it down there.
Yeah.
Good food.
Good for you. You have good food and not a lot of COVID.
Great
Yeah,
people.
that's pretty solid.
Great people.
Great people. Yeah, but yeah, I guess it's Nutrition Month still.
So that's all like.
As
You should be
an
excited
RD.
about this.
You as an RD.
Unfortunately, it's Nutrition Month.
I
and,
should be, and you know what? I started off the month so excited about Nutrition Month. I had like so many plans about what to do, the places I'd go, like the food I'd share and take photos of. And now it's like, man, I wonder if I can go to the grocery store today.
You can still take pictures of the places.
I could, yeah, just from afar, at least 2 meters away.
2 meters away.
Though,
Don't lick your fingers.
don't lick your fingers. Wash your hands, please.
Yeah.
Please wash your hands. Don't hoard toilet paper.
Or toilet paper.
Please don't.
Toilet paper.
Yeah.
Or.
Hoard it. Yeah. Still working the front line. You know, watching the news every day. So yeah, I guess with Nutrition Month now, it's less of like we still want to encourage food, especially now that there's always concerns about food shortages or people to get food. I feel like I don't know. I haven't been to the grocery store too recently, but I don't know about you guys. Like, is there like still dried food pretty readily available, or do you find it starting to become more and more, I guess, bought?
So the last time I was there, it was like the only things that you couldn't find at all.
Yeah.
Fruit and vegetables and like bread.
Okay.
There's like no bread or fruit
Really?
and vegetables. Yeah. But then
never found it all.
everything else was like available still.
Yeah.
So I found that kind of odd that it was like those things were the only things.
I know there's places like running out of meat and beef and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I went to Miller's Meat and it was all like fully stocked. So
That's
Oh.
weird that.
shop at a local butcher if you want meat.
Makes
Fully
sense.
stocked,
You want
yeah.
meat? Go to the meat guy.
Yeah.
You got a meat guy?
Oh, he's got a meat guy.
I got a guy for every situation. Every situation.
Couple meat guys.
That's a lot of guys. I respect that.
A lot of situations.
Fantastic.
He's prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went, I only saw like chips. Chips were all out, and bananas. Chips and bananas.
That was Hao-Yi.
And Oreos.
Oreos.
Bananas and Oreos.
But my partner was at the grocery store yesterday, and she saw like it was called the extremely stuffed Oreo, not regular, not double, extremely stuffed.
It's just like one
Oreo.
and another.
It was so
The whole row
The,
is just one.
the inside was so thick, like the thickest cream. It looked delicious. Yeah.
Did you guys get it?
No, we
What?
should have though. Yeah.
What the heck?
Well, because we already have like 8 packs of Oreos at home.
What's 9?
Now it's
What's
nine,
a
it's
what's a
crazy.
9th pack of Oreos?
Yeah,
We didn't even notice.
And that's a new currency.
Yeah,
It's gonna be.
Oreos. I saw one of her coworkers brought in red velvet cake Oreos, only a US thing, unfortunately.
How did they get them here?
We gotta go.
Across the border, I guess.
Oh.
Not sure if it was screened, but made it past the border.
We smuggled Oreos.
Smuggled Oreos.
What
yeah.
did I say?
Oreo.
It's a new currency. There it is.
Well, looks I'm already a millionaire.
Yeah, we're breaking.
Yeah.
Breaking
You're
news.
gonna end up eating it.
Yeah, I got $8 grand in Oreos.
Yeah.
8 packs.
8 Oreos in grand.
Grand, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's definitely interesting to see like the different. I guess the effect on food this pandemic has had. I know, like at least from a hospital perspective, there's concerns about like having emergency food stocks, and even for the regular consumer, right? Like we're seeing certain items
Right.
like going missing. Like one of my coworkers, she was concerned because she couldn't find any rice, like at one of the superstores she went to.
Yeah.
It was kind of
That's
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question about hospital food.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on hospital food?
Oh, that's a good question. So, for those who don't know, all of the WHA hospitals have their food come from a central location, and they're
In Manitoba.
in Winnipeg. So this is for the WHA. For example, in Brandon, one of the hospitals I was at, I think they make it downstairs, but some of it gets shipped in.
Okay.
The place I'm at makes it in house, but hospital food I feel like is decent. It's not going to be the greatest, obviously. And then one of the caveats to hospital food is that what we find is malnutrition is pretty common in a hospital, and malnutrition can increase length of stay, delayed wound healing, delayed recovery from surgery, delayed rehab, and unfortunately, if there's a negative perception about hospital food, be it from staff, families, or the patients,
Yeah.
usually they're not going to eat as much of it.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of negativity around it, then they're not going to eat as much, and then they're going to experience that decreased nutrition, right?
Yeah.
On the flip side, there's always room for improvement for hospital food, which is why there's always like audits done. There's actually like a huge study being done on hospital food and malnutrition
In
in
Winnipeg?
actually across Canada.
Oh wow.
So I think Concordia Hospital is one of the research sites here in Winnipeg, and then in Manitoba, one of the other places is actually Brandon. So the Brandon Regional Hospital there is doing it. But yeah, to answer your question, I think hospital food is decent. Obviously, room for improvement. It's never going to be the best, but there's a lot of improvements trying to be made from both a quality of life aspect and also just from a health aspect as well.
Yeah, it's definitely like a fine line to cross because you don't want to
Yeah.
be like, and you're not gonna get it like
Yeah.
Iron Chef
No.
in the basement. Like,
No.
So can you imagine?
And like,
people are like,
I'm
oh no,
sick, I gotta go to the
I can't
hospital.
leave.
you just have like Gordon Ramsay in the basement of
Yeah.
HSC, just like swearing at the cooks,
Yelling at people.
yelling at people.
Mhm.
Goes up and starts like criticizing the patients for putting
Yeah,
up
for
with
being
it.
sick.
Yeah. Like, not only are you sick, you're on culture, can't appreciate food.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely because that's like, I haven't had a lengthy hospital stay. Like I can't.
What's the longest you've been in the hospital for?
I think, like, I haven't even been. Yeah, I haven't even stayed overnight.
Like as a patient, right?
Yeah, I haven't. I haven't been.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, I just got like.
I
sleep
have,
or
but I was
something.
too young to really remember.
How old were you?
Oh, young,
26.
like. Well, I guess there's actually a few times where I would have stayed, but
I can't remember.
No, but no, like it was all when I was pretty young, right? Like I honestly just don't remember.
Do you have like remember like kind of a rough time span, give or take?
No,
No.
because like when I was first time,
How many arms did you break?
I didn't break any arms. When I
Three
found
arms.
out, because when I found out I was allergic to walnuts was the first time.
What'd you
How
go
old were you
walnuts?
Yeah, I honestly don't remember, but
I've been eating
I had
walnuts
to
around
stay.
this whole time.
No, I can be
You're
around. I
eating
just can't
walnuts
eat.
this
But that's when we found out, because like what happens for me is my throat completely closes up,
Oh,
right?
you
So
got
I
anaphylaxis.
couldn't breathe at all,
Yeah.
and like basically it said if I would have got there later, I actually would have.
Yeah.
Hey, we're nut
made
buddies.
it, right? So
Is that a big
obviously
deal?
stayed
If your
there.
throat-
I think sounds like it's a pretty
Oh,
big
man.
deal.
Breathing's overrated.
And then another when I was a kid as well, I had blood poisoning. Got foot was cut camping, and then got blood poisoning.
Is that a big
and
deal?
then
Tetanus or?
well,
Blood was poisoned by other
we
people.
won't get into details,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
there's
sorry.
no. But in terms of let's just say there's a family member that wasn't very smart, and I'm allergic to adhesives and like band-aids and
Oh
that as
god.
well.
Yeah, okay.
And
What
they
the hell?
no, so they I can't use band-aids. Like I really
Yeah.
can't, right?
Yeah.
So they covered up the cut with the band-aid
Oh,
that I'm
jeez.
allergic to.
Right.
So
Did they
that's
know?
just
Oh, they're like, we'll take
So,
it later.
that made it worse, right? But the thing is, because I wasn't in the city, we were camping. I went like a couple days later,
Oh.
and basically they said I had blood poisoning working its way through my body.
Jeez.
And again, if I would have been any later, I would have died.
We wouldn't have a Cody.
So
And this was in the span of how many
this
years?
one I was about 12, I think,
And,
11 or 12. The other one I was only like 3, maybe 3, 4.
How was that stay when you were 3 or 4?
That I can't remember.
Was it a
now.
good stay?
Yeah, but the other one obviously
That's-
not
what was the
enjoyable,
breakfast like?
right?
Best
But,
sleep of my life.
but that's enough of that. But I don't really remember the stage. I just know I was obviously.
Wow, that's I didn't know you were allergic to. I knew walnuts.
Yeah, walnuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I found out.
I have no idea.
That's one of the major ways to find out that you're allergic to stuff.
Anyway, yeah.
How are you allergic to anything?
Yeah.
All
so
nuts.
you guys.
All nuts.
All nuts, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, so it took me I took a couple of reactions for me to figure it out, my family to figure it out. So one time I had a peanut at a Chinese restaurant and I was super sick for about 2 days.
Oh, that was
Yeah, it was bad. I felt like there were like little needles stabbing my tongue. Another time, I think I had I can't remember what the second time was, but the third time was pretty memorable because I had a Reese's Pieces, and then about a minute or two later, I threw up in my mother's flower pot, which devastated her. And then
Not
they,
good.
and then they took me to the hospital. Then they tested me.
After they got mad at you.
How could you do that?
And I remember as like a little kid, like, I don't know how long I was there for. I remember as a little kid, they took my blood because I think there's two main types of allergy tests. There's the skin prick, and then there is the blood. Depending on which test you do, they measure different antibodies reactions. But I remember as a kid, this nurse coming in, or phlebotomist coming with like this huge bag, and I just see the bag filling up, and I'm like, that's a lot of blood. And I look down, and I see like my arm has like a needle in it, and I'm like, oh, that's my blood.
Yeah.
Maybe
And then-
you were abducted.
Maybe. And then
yeah.
the phlebotomist walked out, and I look at my mom, and she's like, I took a lot of blood. And I'm like, okay, all right, I took a lot of blood. That's what I'm picking up on.
Yeah.
My mom's like, it was nice knowing you.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
My
You get
flower
my
pot.
Good thing we got a second child.
Yeah. Woo! On the upswing now.
Yeah, but and then they confirmed I had allergy to nuts, and like Cody, like I'll go anaphylactic. So the last time I had a reaction, I was in grade 9 or grade 10. Grade 10, I was in grade 10, so first year of high school, and I had some curry, and then. So the funny thing is like every year the school gives you and your family a pamphlet that describes the symptoms of allergic reaction, just in case you didn't know already.
Yeah.
And one of the symptoms they describe is a sense of doom, and I always laughed at that because I always thought that was kind of a stupid thing to describe. And then I had some
Describe
curry.
it for us.
Flash forward.
Yeah, flash forward. Yeah, flash forward.
Makes
I had some curry, and then like I started feeling my chest tighten. I couldn't really breathe, and then I'm like, oh damn, I'm gonna die.
Is
This is a sense of
Sense
doom
of
they're
doom.
talking about.
I
Yeah.
have a sense of doom.
It's like
running around.
I'm in trouble. Yeah. So then I stabbed myself with an EpiPen. I went to I think it was HSC. Yeah.
That's the real thing.
Yeah.
What? A ballpoint. He didn't do it.
It's like,
Ow.
ow, I'm bleeding.
Oh, please.
And then I went to HSC and I stayed there for about 8 hours just so they could monitor me. The worst part is the only thing good on the TV was House Renos and Nicolas Cage. So I naturally watched Nicolas Cage
That's his
movies
hero
for
now?
about 6 hours.
That's your hero now.
No, it's my devil. He's my nightmare in my dreams.
After
Which
that
one?
story, I thought you said the worst part was gonna be the hospital food.
I thought.
It was all
That's
leading
why
up
I went
to
to
it.
RD.
Yeah.
That was why I became an RD.
RD, yeah.
Let's go send this up.
Coming for you, Allie.
Yeah.
Aliens are back.
Yeah.
This is day 7 in
We need more of
the
your
basement.
Yeah, day 7 in the basement. We haven't found the door out yet.
We tried to go up there. We tried to go up the ceiling.
We're down to our last piece of fried chicken that Joe brought in beforehand.
Yeah.
Damn spicy fried chicken.
Spicy.
You may.
I don't know. I think Bo got it.
Lambo, yeah.
Rambo.
Lambo was definitely a
Rambo.
challenge.
Rambo.
Rambo. How old is Lambo?
He's like 8,
8.
4. Just met him. 4 years old. Yeah, he's 8, but I mean, like I always say, like it depends on the day. He acts like he's like 2 years old or
Yeah.
12 years old. But I mean, today he came down and was just like scooping over all the plates and
Yeah.
just taking all the scraps.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hooked it upstairs.
Can't stop Lambo.
You can't stop.
Stop.
No.
You can't stop him. He'll sweep right under you. Yeah. Yeah. That's that. So
You
Joe,
allergic to anything?
I don't think so.
No. Lucky guy.
I
It
want-
sucks. I had one girl.
It sucks not being allergic to it.
It sucks being allergic to
Yeah.
stuff. Like I had a girl tell me or ask me like, can you have Nutella? And I'm like, no. And then her response is, is your life worth living? And I'm like, that escalated really fast.
Yeah. It's
Like, really
Nutella
fast.
Nutella.
Downhill.
But
Yeah.
there's literally how many people are like that though? Like,
Yeah.
they absolutely love it. I'm like, it's okay.
It's like what, hazelnut and chocolate?
Yeah.
I've never had it.
It's
sugar.
sugar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like a massive sweet tooth, and like Nutella, I can only have a little bit of it.
Is it like? Is it because it's like really
It's just so
sweet?
sweet.
It is. Yeah.
It
I
is
need
very
like
sweet.
I'm
Honestly,
really
I
bad.
only have very little. Like,
Yeah.
I'm bad if something's like a little sweet, I'll like destroy it.
Yeah.
But if something's really sweet, then I won't.
What's your favorite dessert?
Reese's Pieces.
Oh, I like peanut butter cups, but like
Yeah.
my go-to, like I think we talked about before, is like my protein yogurt,
Oh,
peanut butter,
yeah.
and blueberries. That's my bedtime snack,
Nice.
and yeah,
Nice.
that's to keep the demons at bay.
Usually go.
The aliens.
Usually people opt for alcohol, but that works too.
Yeah,
That's this guy.
That's next step. That's next step.
Yo, shout out to the LCs.
Yeah.
Because they're still open, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think I went to one on Leela and they were installing the
really?
ID one,
Yeah.
and the guy at the counter was like very passionate about them installing it. There was a little lineup, and he like talked to me for like 5 minutes, and I was like, people are like staring at me. I was like, he just
It's
wants to
obvious.
talk about this. He just wants to talk about the new scanning process they got.
Well, Lilo, I think, was one of the places that got hit the hardest by the
Really?
string of thefts. Yeah.
Oh,
He
I think the
waits
one on
in line.
McPhillips.
Oh, it's McPhillips.
the one in the Safeway, I think. That one was like honk shit.
Because
Well, the one
There's not
on
even a secret there anymore.
the
I'm-
Kuwait,
oh,
the
wait, there's
Kuwaiti
still
one
one
was
with
a
the-
really bad one. I
Kuwait
thought.
one was the bad
That was like
one.
that was
Because
really bad.
I think there was a member of the powerlifting
It was
community.
that was the location they were.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
happened?
A member of the.
Former member of our gym.
They used to.
They used to be
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, a member of the powerlifting community worked at that location.
Yeah.
And they unfortunately were involved in the attack. They got hurt. Or
they were
assaulted.
working.
Yeah. But really unfortunate. But yeah, I can see why they're passionate.
During the whole ordeal too, like everyone there was, the workers seemed like really like still kind of trying to be high spirits and stuff like that. They seemed really nice too and trying to just keep everything going forward. And
Yeah, like I don't know how you even prepare for that.
I know it's like
Yeah,
it's a tough situation, but they're like
You wouldn't
just
think
super brave and everything too, right?
Oh, yeah.
you wouldn't think the LC out of all places to get robbed.
Well, I heard other stories too about like other locations where the workers people would be asking the workers about it, and then they'd be like, "Yeah, it's been really bad," and then as the conversation was happening, someone else would rob them.
Oh.
Literally during the conversation.
About
and
how
then
bad it was.
And like they would talk about how one just happened earlier in the day. And
Yeah,
then
it's
as
crazy.
they were talking about it, it would happen again, and then everyone would just like stop moving and like obviously
That's
Chris,
actually that's actually well not funny, but like I went to the one on Sobeys like months ago, and I was just standing in line, and then there was this girl that just like cut everybody and then just walked out, and she just like had
That's
like
it.
like
Yeah.
a bottle.
because they know it can't be stopped.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to do anything, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, they just press a button and then like wait for. I mean, for like $15 bottle of vodka.
I know a lot of people were stealing or underage too and stuff like that.
I
Right?
saw. Yeah. But anyways, favorite desserts.
Yeah. What's
so
yours?
what's your drink?
Oh, yeah.
What's your
What's the question here? What's the question?
what's Howie's favorite dessert?
Cookies and cream ice cream. Cookies and cream, yeah.
Cookies and cream.
Ice cream, yeah. Or cookies and cream ice cream cake. That's
I
like
think
the
that's the
cool-
same thing.
I guess so, but it's like in a cake format. It makes it a lot better, you know. Or root beer float.
I have no idea what mine is.
Yeah.
Root beer float. That's
Oh,
it.
tiramisu.
So you got a couple
I
favorites.
do got a couple of favorites.
It's another sweet tooth.
Well,
I
the
have a
problem
meat
is
tooth.
the problem is like when you have a nut allergy, you can't really eat as many desserts. So.
Ew.
I'm sorry, Joe. What was that? What was that, Joe?
I don't know if like everyone else was ignoring you. But I was like,
It took me a second to like, did he really say what he just said?
Joe's got a meat tooth.
Nice.
So is this our leeway into what did you smoke this week?
Yeah, what do you smoke this week?
A lot of big meats.
Well, let's do it after the dessert talk. I don't want to
Dessert talk? No, I want to talk about thick meat. Let's go.
Thick juicy meat. Dazzlers.
You see that meme? Stay home if you're sick. Come over if you're thick.
This show's meat party.
Yeah,
This is now a meat podcast.
Sure. A meat cast.
Meat cast.
Oh.
Joe, would you like to weigh in?
Don't get my hopes up.
So do you actually have a smoker at your place?
It's my buddy's.
Yeah.
He has his own. They're pretty pricey. They're pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just telling me about one today. There's one that you can.
Yeah.
What were you saying? Something about
You could do like 12 chickens at once.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a
but
lot.
that one's like starting at 2 G's. Yeah.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
chickens.
Yeah, that's a lot of chickens.
Yeah.
like full chickens.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it gets nuts, man.
So like,
That's
like
like commercial grade though. Why, who's cooking
I was gonna
30
say you wouldn't eat one that
Yeah.
big.
Well,
I can
well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I mean, hey Tommy, you know, we were thinking we have a barbecue, right?
That's such
Yeah,
a,
we were thinking about having a barbecue.
That's such like a neighborhood dad flex, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's the guy over there is cooking a steak. You got 12 chickens.
Yeah, hey buddy, if your family is ever hungry, I got about 12 chickens ready to go.
Someone like with a little grill, and they look for to see Joe with like 12 chickens on this grill. And it's like, it's kinda
That's
level.
literally like one of my, not favorite memories, but like funniest memories. Like when I lived on Arlington, and there's like like guys in the back like just barbecuing, and I had an old like camper barbecue, like just kind of on stage, just looking at it like went down.
So what happened?
Yeah, like a little barbecue, and I'm just like, woo, like, big old steak on here, yeah, time to eat.
The glares you're getting.
Yeah, and they're like, that's not how you cook a steak.
It was amateur over here.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So what you got?
How pricey do those smokers run? Because I've never really worked with one.
There's different brands, but I'm used to one brand. I'm not gonna say their name because I want them to sponsor me first.
Shout out. Give a shout out.
To all the 12 viewers.
Yeah.
We're getting more.
Yeah.
No, it's different, but it's still pricey. Like, I would probably say the cheapest you could find one would be maybe like 600, 700.
Oh wow.
And that's
That's
a good smoker. It's a good base smoker.
It's gonna be like the bottom tier one, but it's still
Decent
a
enough.
good smoker, yeah.
For like us, kind of a small gathering.
If anything, it's just gonna be
Oh, those
like
are
the
allowed,
size
yeah.
of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Small gathering's perfect, man. If
Yeah.
anything, it's just gonna be the size. The one my buddy has is it's on the smaller side, and we obviously cook a lot of meat, so we tend to be like, we need more room on this, because when you get like whole pans of stuff and all that stuff, it's like there's no room there.
Get a couple briskets on.
Yeah, a couple briskets on there. So it depends. Like the bigger you get, bigger, or the more expensive it gets, but it also cooks a little quicker too.
Okay.
What's the best brand?
What's the best? I wouldn't know the different brands.
What's your go-to brand?
It would be the Traeger.
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 What'd you call me?
Traeger. Traeger.
Oh shit.
I gotta renew my license in like a couple of days.
Yeah.
Don't know if I'll get a chance to do that anymore.
We're gonna have to delay this release.
Yeah.
Delayed.
That's all good.
Oh yeah, we need to get one of those smokies.
Yeah.
We all gotta go.
We're calling it smokies.
Yeah.
Can we buy one and slap a movement logo on it?
Yeah. It's actually the movement smoky.
Moving smoky, yeah.
Get like a custom top part.
Yeah.
Metal.
Hey, we can make Big Movement a smoky place and reopen.
There you go.
Smoker.
We always talked about Joe opening up his own restaurant or something at
Little
Movement.
meat
Yeah.
shack.
Meat
Meat
shack.
shack or smoothie bar or something.
No, it's gotta be a shack of some sort.
Yeah,
Imagine we-
smoothie.
Oh. Got that free meat too.
Oh boy. For all your meaty needs.
Yeah. Meaty needs.
Imagine we had a meat shack behind Movement instead of the current situation.
It can go right in that like little barrier.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's so sketchy. You gotta walk in.
At
You're
the
walking
very end
by.
of it. It's
See
at the
Joe in
very
the,
back.
in the alleyway. He's like,
Shanty shack.
Yeah, at the very back, not even at the front of it. Yeah. Hey, get back
You
here!
gotta walk through
You
the
gotta walk all the
dark
way.
alley.
a little side door, you pop out.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, boys. One little treat.
Want no meat?
A little sausages from underneath his jacket. Freshly seasoned.
Not again, Joe.
Not the members. I said not the members, Joe.
Pre-workout, post-workout.
Got your pre-workout meat?
Yeah. It's a giant kielbasa.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So, what questions do you have for us, Howie?
What questions do I have? I guess so. I know. Last week or last podcast, we talked a lot about like diets and supplements. So I'm just kind of curious for you guys. Like, are there any particular go-to supplements you like, or you have any like particular stories or experiences with supplements, or even just food or diets in general? Because a lot of the athletes I work with, especially those who are older or have a bit more experience, they've tried a lot of different diets and supplements, some good, some bad, and some just kind of in between, right? So I'm just curious if anyone, what your thoughts on any diet supplements you've tried in the past or are taking right now.
Jenny Craig diet. It's a good one.
I don't know, like Joe, if you want to weigh in first.
Man, mine's a good train wreck.
Yeah.
My diet, supplements, I just take caffeine.
Yeah. Like pills or
Yeah.
like powder.
Pills.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't do powder. I think it tastes so gross.
Well, like I think are you meaning like pre-workout? Or are you meaning like a powder creatine? I mean a powder caffeine.
Oh, powder caffeine I don't think is legal in Canada. I have to
Yeah.
double check.
Oh yeah, no, pre-workout. I just
Pre-workout,
take
yeah.
caffeine pills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jaeger bomb maybe.
Yeah.
Diet,
I maybe did that one.
yeah, diet wise anything goes.
So yeah, I watched the Office and I just saw a lot of stuff. I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
I just see Cody just doing his thing, and it's like, aren't you gonna go work out? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we just go by how we feel too.
Yeah.
I go by how I feel, and usually I feel like shit, so I never go.
Just a regular day. Just a
All right,
regular
we're
day.
opening it up here.
There's like a really heavy
So
in the
when did you
basement.
start feeling
Yeah.
that?
It's a safe space
Ever
here.
since the day I was born.
Oh God, we're not leaving anytime soon, so you know, just lay it all out.
You just gotta get a couch here. I feel like we could talk for hours.
You want the bench, man?
Yeah.
As long as you guys stay 6 feet away from me.
All right.
I don't know. I think Tommy's feet are getting a little close
I
to
know.
you.
An inch away. Yeah.
Stank.
Yeah, my diet's like whatever. Nutrition is probably whatever. I don't know.
It's a good summary. That's
Yeah.
actually on the checklist.
Yeah.
Thank
How
you
are
for
your diet?
thank you
How's
for
your
weighing in,
diet?
Joe.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have a banana once in a while.
You should have it more often.
Yeah.
Is there anything you like consistently do have though?
Yeah.
Like there's just something that's always a part of your meal plan, like or a routine.
Yeah. I don't know, some.
Anything at Leopold's.
Yeah.
Shout out to Leopold's.
A bunch. I try to prioritize protein intake,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's just whatever it happens to be during the day. Steaks or chicken breasts or whatever. I like try.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, it's
12 chickens.
12 chickens.
12
13,
chickens.
13
Yeah.
chickens.
13
The
chickens.
issue is I have them all in one day.
Yeah. That's the hardest, just eating all of them.
So I don't have to eat for the rest of the week.
I was like, what's the creatinine so high? Alright, so
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
don't worry about it.
Not really sure.
There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, I mean, I have a general idea of how all that stuff
Yeah.
works with my body.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you took those classes at Tech
yeah,
Talk, right?
I have knowledge.
You have knowledge, yeah.
Well,
Professional. in the
Professional,
field.
yeah. Top of your class.
Basically, yeah. I have
Yeah.
a little paper that says so.
You got a paper?
It's official.
It's official.
It's pretty good.
It's true. But no, not a lot of things disagree with me, so
Mhm.
I'm kind of
Hell
free
no.
with yeah.
Yeah, this guy's got a steel stomach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? Conventionally speaking, I guess.
I feel like you have to combine
Yeah, I don't really.
like weirdest thing followed by like something, because I know like there's been times where he's eaten something
Yeah.
and then has done circuits and I'm like,
Oh God.
what the hell?
Yeah,
And he's
what
just
are
like
you doing? Yeah.
he just kind of like goes into it and it doesn't even effing matter.
Wow.
And I like after I would have eaten that, or I think a vast majority of people,
Yeah,
it's like-
I would have been like, you know what, I'm gonna chime down for the night, and he's just started ramping up. He's just
That is pretty
It's
impressive.
because people don't know their bodies that well. Just kidding.
I am
I'm
a
one with
He's very in tune
I am
with
a
himself.
different species.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It just works. Everything just
Yeah.
works.
That's fair.
That's weird.
Except,
How about,
except for my hip.
That's right.
And my
That's
back.
right.
That's a different
It's all
issue.
getting backed up.
I feel like that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Cody?
Which part? The supplement part or
No,
the...
your hip. How's your hip?
My hips are fine. Yeah, I got no
See,
problem
they don't
with my
lie.
hip.
They don't
My
lie.
hips, they don't
Yeah.
lie, boy.
Yeah.
But any I guess supplements or
Sure.
diets you've done in the past or currently?
I don't really take supplements too much.
Yeah.
Like
Whoa.
I take pre-workout,
Yeah.
From
but then for like the longest time I didn't even take pre-workout.
Yeah.
Now it's more necessity.
Mhm.
Just and honestly, it's not even like energy-wise. It's like I feel like if I take a pre-workout
addicted.
now, I'm. It's like a mental like, hey, I gotta work out
It's
now.
a routine thing, right?
Yeah, with my schedule, if I just start working out, I'm so bad at stopping and doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Other
no.
work. No, not at all.
That's nothing.
So, but I think if I make sure I take pre-workout, I kind of like, okay, I gotta do it now,
Yeah.
type thing. So,
What
and
kind of
obviously it
supplements
does
do you
help.
Or what kind of brands do you
Only
use?
Kaizen.
What?
Only Kaizen.
Oh.
He's loyal.
Yeah. Order Kaizen through our website, save 20%.
Our website is Strong Tree.
I'm stronger than you.
Your website-
Yours here first.
Yeah, I only take Kaizen right now.
Yeah.
not just because of the partnership, but I mean, it's just it works.
Yeah.
It's a job. Yeah, I take and then protein. Like I take their protein every day, but like not as just like a scoop of protein. Every morning I have like a shake basically.
Oh yeah.
Like it makes like protein, almond milk, oats, and then just have that all
Cabbage.
together, and then just every day.
I had a
Just
cabbage.
First thing I eat, easiest, get it in the system.
Yeah.
Right. Type
Kind of like a
thing.
shake to start
So,
the day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, but otherwise, I don't really take any other supplements.
Yeah.
And
Is
I
that-
don't follow. Yeah.
Is that the same shake you take like during at the gym too, or do you have something when you wake up?
No, that's the first thing I eat.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't eat
So
when I first
even
get
then,
up.
it's still like midday-ish, like
Some
lunch-ish.
days.
It depends on the day.
That's true.
Yeah. The earliest I ever eat is like 10:30 usually. 10:30, 11 is usually my first
Yeah.
meal.
That's pretty late.
Yeah, I just find that I'm not that hungry when I first wake up. My other big problem is when I start eating, I kind of don't stop. And you guys joke about
Yeah.
that too.
That's
Start
You got
start
the num-nums.
Yeah.
start warming up, and I gotta stop and eat more food, and then
Wow.
get an exercise in, go and eat more food. Like so, I'm bad. And once I start, I just kind of keep going. So I snack a lot, like a lot of fruits, a lot of smaller things like that.
I was
throughout
gonna
the day.
say,
But-
because sometimes I'll see you do a set and then you kind of like disappear into the room, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe just like
Come on.
answer a phone call, and then
Well,
like
that's sometimes true.
Come on.
sometimes, but then like 5 minutes later, I'm like gonna go get water, and I just see you like on the table just like eating like
Or-
a full meal, and I'm like,
Or he'll walk out with crumbs all over his face.
Yeah.
Don't mind me, guys.
You know what I mean? I'm so hungry.
But I also find like
Without-
with powerlifting, I really like. I feel like I burn through my energy quick on the main lifts.
yeah,
I can get all the accessory movements after, no problem. But it's like, especially on heavy days or like singles, doubles, I find like I just have to keep eating.
yeah,
Like it's not gonna go well if I don't.
yeah.
But then once the main lifts are done, it's not really a big deal.
Makes
Because the
sense.
demand's not the same, right?
Yeah.
So, like I pretty much have like a banana, an orange, and an apple, the three in some sort of combination, from
What
the start of my workout to the first lift. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat all of those, no
Nice.
matter what else I ate, right? And then you
Yeah.
guys know I got my go-to rap before I work out.
Oh, yeah.
Always,
What song is it?
What-
so-
oh, yeah, what's that?
Not that kind of rap.
R. Kelly.
Kelly.
Okay.
Not doing a shout out to R. Kelly for very obvious
Yeah,
reasons.
Shout out our guy.
We weren't supposed to do that.
We did it.
That's our number.
Sandy Sosa, Copy David, R. Kelly, Traeger
Yeah.
Grills, and Traeger Grills.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Alright.
So, but yeah, like I said, I don't really have like a set supplement
Yeah.
intake or diet plan or anything like that.
Just brand.
Just brand, yeah, set brand that I use. And then even for meals, like, and it relates to what Joe said. Like, I kind of just know what works for me.
Yeah. Very intuitive at this point, right?
I eat a lot of like salads or wraps, like those, like in that form. I eat a lot of a lot of fruit and vegetables, and obviously meat too. I try to limit my dairy intake,
Yeah.
just because I find it doesn't always sit well with me.
Yeah.
If I eat too much, like I still have dairy,
Cheese
but
and stuff. Or?
yeah, especially like I don't drink milk anymore. I'll really like I'll have almond milk in my shakes instead.
Yeah.
Not that I get sick, I just feel better without it.
Yeah.
And grains, like I limit my
Good
grains
tummy
too.
Yeah.
I just feel more. I don't know. I just feel better with more like fruits, vegetables, meats, those products.
Yeah.
So I think makes up the majority of my intake,
Makes sense.
and then a little bit of the other categories, but
Yeah.
just personal preference.
That makes sense. I mean, if you're finding what works best for you, and I think that's the hardest part for people sometimes is figure out what works for them, and that comes with trial and error, right?
Well, I also find when I start eating more, like, especially if I don't get that protein intake earlier in the day,
Yeah.
I just eat way more than I should of
Yeah.
those products, right? So, I eat like eggs every day, eggs in
Yeah.
the shake.
Yeah,
If I don't
eggs.
have, if I don't have those,
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat way more food faster.
And the
Not
shake.
in the shake.
I heard it. Eggs in the shake.
And the shake.
What the
I'm gonna start looking at your shakes a little more suspiciously now.
Smells like diaper.
Well, it's like,
Or the
yeah.
cow chunks in your shake.
Yeah.
And the shake.
And the
Yeah.
shake. Yeah.
So one day he had some real stinky ass eggs. Holy, they were bad. And then like I was doing deadlift, and I was like following him the whole time.
And he's walking around the whole
He's
gym.
walking around with a client.
Just
and I'm
holding
like,
it in front of you.
Yeah, and I was like, "Hey Cody, you got a bag of baby poop I can smell before this lifts?" Like Jesus, set up the whole gym. Yeah. But I mean, I love eggs. I'm a big fan of eggs.
Shout out to eggs.
Shout out to eggs.
Shout out to eggs.
Shout out to eggs.
Upstairs. Whenever we get up there.
Yeah, whenever we get up.
We will have the eggs.
Eventually, when we finally under the staircase.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's
Master
interesting.
lets us out.
Hey, at least we got a fire though.
We do.
We're staying
it's
warm.
still
They
so.
can't see it.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a fire, guys.
We do.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just a random fire.
It's getting out of control.
Smoke coming through the top.
It's just like a coffee can. A couple pieces of
That's
baby.
that's where we're cooking our
Yeah, that's a smoker.
Yeah.
It's
Bones
a
are in
Traeger,
there.
Traeger grill.
$2,000.
Yeah.
That's nice. Shout out to this can. Best,
Shout out
best
to-
smoker.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nabob.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you mentioned the protein thing too, because a lot of research shows that higher protein diets can help with managing hunger and like appetite.
Oh, it definitely
And,
does
like,
for
time-
me.
especially the
100%.
timing, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's interesting you mentioned the eggs. Shout out the eggs again. But like we, myself and my partner, we get our eggs from a Hutterite colony,
Nice.
choice.
and it's so much cheaper.
Mhm.
But ever since this whole COVID
Oh,
thing,
no.
the Hutterites
What's
closed
going on?
themselves off to everyone.
Ever since the what?
The what? But they
I
closed
mean,
them.
I'm not. What's going on?
Why have we been down
What's
today?
going on? Why are we in the
I
basement?
thought we just wanted to hang out for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah,
I
they
just wanted to move a couple of pieces of equipment over here.
and now we're here. But like they closed up their borders, and now we can't get our eggs. So we
The
gotta
border to the column.
the colony, yeah,
What?
yeah. I didn't even know that such a thing existed
I think
until
they're just lying to you.
yeah.
They just don't want to sell it to you anymore.
Toss it over?
Get back to
Hey,
many
you take
eggs.
too much eggs.
Just cash
Yeah.
them,
You
yeah.
heard about
Cash them,
Cody's,
yeah.
Cody's stinky eggs and
Extra steak.
extra stinky.
Extra steak. In the shake.
How about you, Tommy? Any supplements or diets you like to take in the past
What?
or?
What supplements doesn't he
I
take? Just
like all
kidding.
the stuff.
I think you should ask more about not the food, but what he puts his food in.
Oh yeah, I was like, what do I put my food in? Yeah, I didn't have a salad bowl for the longest time, so I just used my
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yes.
CAA container.
Well, I
Oh,
moved-
yeah.
I noticed that one day I had to move it, and then you came and was like, "Have you seen my salad?" I'm like, "No, that was just a BCA container." And you grab it, come back, and then
That is my
Son of a bitch.
Well, here's the thing though, because you didn't give me any context. So you open the BCA, it's like, oh, I guess he's getting ready to work out. And then I see you pull out some salad dressing, you start dumping it in the container. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
How clutch was that idea?
Yeah.
That's super clutch.
And I'm like looking at you, thinking you've gone nuts. And then I ask, like,
Oh yeah.
why are you putting salad dressing? It's like, oh, this is my salad. And you reach it, you start taking out chicken. So, like, and that's like the fact that you're putting your salad there hasn't fully like set in yet. So now I'm watching this guy just take salad dressing and chicken and putting in his BCA's container.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
There's still
wow.
B6 in there.
It's just full of powder.
Yeah.
It's a little grindy.
Did you ever find a salad bowl?
Yeah, but the BCA container is still my favorite.
Nice.
Still gonna stick
Well,
with that.
he was gonna buy lunch that day or something. He's like, oh man, I don't have my salad bowl.
Yeah.
Guess I gotta buy lunch. I'm like, what do you mean?
Is
Got
that,
a
is that,
container right here.
is that thing food grade?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, just I'm not saying it will happen, but you know, like some of those things that the plastic and stuff leaches out, right?
What's that?
Some of the stuff leaches out.
Onto my food?
Yeah.
Into the
Maybe,
into
maybe.
the BCA
Wait, what did
powder?
it do to the supplements
What did
too?
it do to the powder?
What did it do to the powder?
I mean, a powder's a dried substance. You're
Is it?
adding some salad dressing here.
That's true.
That is true, yeah.
Are you washed it? or-
I did wash it. Yeah, of course I washed it.
Fucking hell, you don't wash it. Every time you make a new salad, there's more flavor.
Check here.
Just stay in water for weeks.
The whole container thing already threw me
Yeah.
off. I've stopped assuming now.
I'm a 6 son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He's on 6 salads now.
Nice.
6 different
I
Yeah,
feel
actually-
like shit.
You actually can't tell which one's a supplement container and which one's salads
Yeah.
now. It's
Yeah.
just like grab one and
Well, now every
Grab one
time
and
like
scoop.
every time I see your container, I'm like, is that food or is that salt? I'm just gonna put it off to the side, you know. I'm
I'm
not
just
gonna.
gonna snack on it. You can snack on it.
Yeah.
It's usually never a stagnant salad in there. Just steaming.
If it's on that desk, it's a free for all.
Just salad steamer.
As long as you don't put any of Cody's eggs in there, we're good.
Holy shit! I would never
That's
touch
a combo.
those eggs.
that's the combo. Hey, more food for me. That's fine. Don't touch my food.
No one's gonna touch that. But yeah, I take absurd amount of caffeine. That's pretty much my go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you think you would take in a day, give or take?
Honestly, like on exam weeks or like exam periods,
Yeah.
I'll probably like between 600 and 800 milligrams.
Sorry.
Probably on some days upwards of 1,000.
Oh, like a gram in.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm
That's
gonna
not
get you.
too bad though.
Yeah.
That's pretty. It's getting there.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
But you're not like taking it all at once, are you?
no.
Yeah.
like a gram is pretty big, but you have to see like how you're like the dosages, and then like your body weight also comes into play too.
Yeah. I'm thankful that like I haven't had a night course in years, so I haven't like taken caffeine past
Yeah, you're in
like two or three for a while, but
Yeah.
so my sleeps aren't, other than like writing papers, but like my sleeps aren't getting too affected, but definitely some pretty evident crashes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just hooked on it. It's something with me that's for some reason. I remember before. I don't know if it's like the type of like in terms of like pre-workout and that with like supplements. I'm not loyal to like one sort of brand or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just take like a supplement like that as like a placebo effect, just because.
That routine, right?
Yeah. Like I think it's gonna have caffeine. It's gonna have like a lot of these brands could be the same. I think protein is gonna be a little bit different in terms of quality.
Yeah.
You could probably win on that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But like protein brand to brand, maybe that quality could be a little bit different in terms of where that protein's coming from. But I think with like pre-workouts, you're just gonna have like your stimulant pre-workouts, and you're gonna have like more on the trending side of like the cognitive stimulating pre-workouts. But yeah, other than that, like I've tried the keto diet with one of my diabetic clients that they were recommended it.
Oh yeah.
You loved it?
It was terrible. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for anyone that's like going to the gym steadily and is like extremely active. Just on my experience, and I wouldn't recommend diets anyways. Like that's not my biz. But
So Joe's for.
that's a
Joe.
Like a seafood diet.
But I mean,
Seafood diet, I liked it.
it went well. Obviously, like you're gonna lose it. I think I lost like 10 pounds of water weight.
Yeah.
Like within the first couple weeks, and then like your lifts just slowly start going down, and motivation and stuff like that. As like you slowly start getting more and more depleted, as you would following any like low calorie diet, but.
Do you think if you did it longer, your body would have adapted, or?
Not with the activity level that I was doing,
Yeah.
I think your body can definitely adapt if you kind of adapt your workouts to it. But I mean, say with like powerlifting or Olympic weightlifting, it's going to be a very fast sport, and you need like a reserve of that you're just not going to get if you don't. And to my expertise with that, it would be it's going to be a lot more, first off, convenient, and this should be how we talk in here. I don't know if you can just like interject at any time.
You're on a roll.
Yeah.
Get out of your ass, right?
If like for sports like that, and powerlifting too, like it can definitely be done, but I mean it's a lot more convenient for your body to work off those carbohydrates as
Oh,
opposed
absolutely.
to the process of breaking down those long chains for say fats. And but
Well, fat is more expensive to break down in the body. Like it gives you more energy, but it's more expensive to break down, and it takes longer too. Carbs will give you a little less energy, but they're faster to break down and easier.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things, you'll get more total energy quicker with carbohydrates compared to fat.
Yeah.
right? So what I mean by breakdown is that you require oxygen.
Yeah.
That's part of the process of break it down. So you require more oxygen to break down fat. So even though you're getting more energy, it's taking longer and it's not as efficient. Now you can adapt your body to that, but that takes time, and kind of like what you're mentioning, it depends on the sport.
Yeah, so it's like runners.
Runners and like power and output. So I mentioned it last time, but like a lot of activities that require like bursts of speed. So basketball, shout out to the NBA. Hockey, shout out to the NHL. Things like that requires having that blood glucose and that glycogen source ready. Because there's a lot of research shows that if you don't have those carbs readily available in the diet, then your power output goes down, your endurance goes down, things like that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're kind of more of a extreme endurance sport, or more so I guess more physique, then I can see the argument for keto then.
Yeah. It's like a bodybuilder, like down to prep almost.
Yeah.
They get to almost like a ketogenic diet state.
Well, one of the goals is to shed water, right?
Yeah.
It's my understanding. So we're able to do that through a water cut and a ketogenic diet, and I can see the argument for that. I don't know about the health impacts of that. I'm not too well versed in that area.
Yeah.
But I can see the argument, at least from an anecdotal standpoint.
Yeah. And that's, I think, a big difference that could be clarified or stated, that bodybuilding is not going to be a performance-based sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a lot of, first off, subjective as opposed to who wins.
Right.
And there's a lot more involved with that as opposed to a performance-based output sport or results-based sport of
Physical ability.
physical ability, and we could use Olympic weightlifting or powerlifting, but you could use NBA or anything like that as
Shout
well.
out India.
of person A, B person B, they lifted this person lifted this, I beat you, and or whatever.
I beat you or whatever.
Yeah, that's all that matters. But whereas there's a lot more of blurred lines, and within that of that person A, person B, of that kind of strength and output results based kind of performance or performance based, there's going to be a lot of nutrition in there that could impact it.
Mm-hmm.
And same for physique, but there's a lot in that depleted state.
Yeah.
It's not gonna a bodybuilder could still perform shit and win.
Yeah.
Is kind of, I guess, what I'm trying to say. That you could ever real. I imagine with everything that I've been told, I've never done a bodybuilding competition and don't plan on doing one.
Well, why would you speak on it?
The ones that I've been to,
No,
and
not...
every show, and this could definitely be out of turn, and I'm totally okay with being wrong or being corrected here, but with just the politics of it all, which is a completely different talk in itself.
Yeah.
But
well, you're on the right track though. It's not whether they can jump the highest or run the fastest, it's whether they look the best, right?
Yeah. And even with whether they look the best,
it's
that's
subjective
to the judges, right?
And even at their low body fat percentage, there's no way they're performing.
Yeah, and that's where me going to a bodybuilding show, everyone looks jacked as hell. Everyone looks amazing. I would not be able to tell me being a layman eye.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing with me in sports that I love about sports, is that I want to be able to go to the sport that I've never heard of and be shit, that was really good.
Yeah.
That person did a good job. Whereas the thing that just personally that kind of veers me away from bodybuilding is that I go to a show, 13th place looks amazing, first place looks really good too.
Yeah, usually everyone
How do you
looks
go
amazing, man.
Yeah.
And
We're all winners in my eye.
yeah, you're all winners. I just said that in the crowd.
Number one in my heart.
You're number one.
Way to go, son.
Yeah.
It's random.
Yeah, but and there's not I have nothing against bodybuilding. I just think it's and I love strength and conditioning just because I feel that the sport carries you past the platform. So every benefit that you get from strength and conditioning carries you past if you miss a lift or if anything else happens. The benefits are far more reaching in terms of health wise as opposed to that PR that you get.
I like just the strength part.
Yeah, and getting strong is
Strong.
strong is
Just
always
not conditioning.
Yeah, Yeah, conditioning's a little bit tougher, but I mean, if we emphasize that strength, then conditioning would be not that bad. Yeah. What about you, Howie? What are your supplements of choice?
So it kind of, I guess it depends on, I guess what's going on. But the tried and true ones that I've usually had is caffeine,
Oreos.
Oreos,
Definitely
Oreos, bananas.
He's having like sushi every day. You're having
I know.
sushi and hot pot.
Yeah. Yo,
Shout out to sushi.
shout out to sushi. Yeah, we've been trying a lot more sushi places recently, but ever since like places have been shutting down,
How come?
there's like a hole in my heart.
How come the place is shut?
I don't
Is
know.
sushi on the down?
I guess so. Yeah, sushi's on the down. No, so caffeine's a pretty common one. So I used to take a lot of pills, caffeine pills, like kind of when I was in university. I'd average between like 400 to 800, especially during exam week. So, yeah, I'm kidding. So like the pills themselves have about 200 milligrams, and then I never really bought pre-workout until I tried the Kaizen ones, and I'm liking it so far. Shout out to guys. Like personally, like it tastes pretty good, but it does have less caffeine, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
I think
only
it's
100 or 150.
1 to 150.
It's
yeah.
not as much as the pill, I know that.
Yeah.
I have to supplement my pre-workout with a pill.
Yeah. Wow, so 350. Wow.
Yeah.
So caffeine is a pretty common one, and I've even like used coffee for the longest time. So I'll brew some coffee in the morning, keep it in like a thermos, and then drink a lot before coming to the gym.
Yeah.
It was working initially. The only downside is that it gave me massive runs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't like coffee.
Yeah, so I've kind of stopped on that.
I'm fine with coffee in that regard, but then I sweat a lot and it just makes me sweat even more.
Yeah.
So I just don't drink the coffee.
Yeah, and then you get the hangover sweats plus the coffee
Yeah.
sweats.
Yeah.
Plus the workout sweats.
A lot of-
It's just sweating.
You know how when you like eat a lot of meat, you get the sweats too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get those sweats.
Tasty sweats.
Tasty sweats. Yeah. Hyperventilating.
Throw me on the smoke.
Just Juicy Joe.
Marbling is perfect.
Juicy Joe's juice
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah, Juicy Joe's juice bar. I like it.
Meat bar.
Juicy
bar.
Joe's meat bar.
Yeah, I like
Juicy Joe's bar.
meat and smoothie bar. Let's go. Yeah.
That's a bad combo.
And whiskey.
And whiskey.
Yeah.
I like it. We can just have like a bar set up on the side, you know. Speaking of meat, protein is pretty solid too. I usually stick with isolate though, because I find the concentrate also good. I have a bit of a lactose intolerance, so I find the isolate gives me a little bit more protein. It's easier on my stomach. And then creatine whenever I'm trying to add weight, or if I'm like in a really heavy volume phase. So I'll load creatine and then take it, and then sort of jump off it when I'm looking to reduce that water rate or get a little bit closer to my weight class.
Do you always take like monohydrate?
Yeah, just monohydrate. I find that's the one that's the most, like it has the most research, honestly. So that's what I
Creatine
stick
definitely
with.
has like out of any supplement.
Probably the most,
Yeah.
followed by caffeine and protein powder.
Yeah.
And then and then I'll take vitamin D, more so during the winter time.
Yeah.
And then occasionally zinc or C in the past, but not really much anymore now. So yeah. So really it's been caffeine and protein powder that have been the most consistent. And then creatine on and off, depending on what's going on.
So you're gonna hop back on that.
Maybe we'd have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine that'd be a good idea.
I failed to mention the creatine. I take that too.
Yeah.
What else? What else you get?
No, that's
Oh, lose
But,
my hair.
Well, the only issue is like it takes about 4 weeks for that creatine to exit your system with the water weight. So like usually I'll have athletes ask me like, oh, like I'm 4 weeks out or I'm 3 weeks out, can I take some creatine? And I'm like, are you looking to cut weight or water cut? And they'll say yes. And then usually I'll say like maybe we should reconsider it, save it for afterwards, because by the time you get the effects of creatine, you're gonna have to jump off it, and it's gonna take more time for it to exit your system.
What's the recommended amount to supplement with?
It's based on your body weight.
It's around like 5-ish.
Yeah, so there's a loading phase, which is I think I can't remember the time. I think it's like 0.3 to 0.5 grams per kilogram. I don't know. It's like about 20-25 grams per day for 7 days ish. Again, depending on your body mass and your muscle composition, and then 5 days afterwards for a maintenance.
Yeah.
Or 5 grams, sorry.
And if you overtake it, it's waste or. it any?
So that depends. So one of the things, and I applies to protein too, is that if you have a history of diabetes or kidney concerns, then your kidneys are the organ that filter out excess protein and excess creatine because they're nitrogen-based substances.
Okay.
So if you do take a lot, you could be placing more load on your kidney. The research is still kind of out on it, but the general rule of thumb is if you do have a history of kidney or diabetes in the family, approach with caution. If you take excess amounts, I imagine you would pee it out, but I don't know the effects on the kidney.
For an individual who happens to consume a lot of smoked meats,
Yeah.
would they need to supplement?
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. Shout out, friend.
What do you think you're like? Have you like ever tracked your meats?
No.
I'm gonna just
Yeah,
be
log
like the
your meat.
rudest person ever
Yeah.
and just like interrupt.
No, I
imagine like
I don't think he wants to know.
There's a lot of different cuts too, right?
Yeah.
Some
Yeah,
have more
right.
fat and less
Yeah.
fat, and like it'd be a night too.
yeah, I'd wonder like what the like how much fat is in that meat? How
Yeah.
fat is that meat?
Shit, what?
How fat's your meat?
Yeah.
Depends on-
On a scale of 1 to 10.
But alright, yeah, you guys can keep talking. Let's get rid of that.
I don't
What you
remember.
guys said?
I got sidetracked by the meat.
Yeah.
I think I asked, would you need to supplement on creatine for someone who eats a lot of meat?
Or supplement
Protein?
protein.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so creatine you find naturally in meat. But in order to get the dosage that you would need for a performance aspect, you'd have to eat a lot of meat. Like a lot. Like
Joe level.
I- yeah,
So your level.
Yeah,
I'll
Joe
show you a
level.
picture.
Joe level.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's like micrograms or milligrams. Sorry, not micrograms. Milligrams of creatine in the meat. So you have to eat a lot of meat.
Okay.
And
Now,
at that
obviously,
point,
it depends on
challenge
the different meat too,
accepted.
right?
I'm sorry.
Depends on the different meat. Certain meats have more.
A little bit more, yeah.
Yeah.
Generally, your red meats, I think, but that's just a guess. I don't know the actual numbers for that. All I know is
I
that
don't
you
either.
have to eat a lot of meat, and then you'd have other health concerns on your hand.
You know what you think?
And, like,
Heard
I
you.
know I got flagged for my kidney enzymes.
Mhm.
It was like one summer I was working for Hydro, like
Yeah.
it was a summer job, and then for like the blood test, they just flagged me for like the kidney enzymes, and I think it was more my doctor.
creatinine?
No,
Oh, okay.
no,
Too much meat.
or no, sorry, liver enzymes, not kidney.
Oh, so your ALT or AST or something?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
But then yeah, so and then my doctor's just like with me supplementing
Yeah.
like protein. It's like everything's just worked a little bit harder to keep up. Just kind of backed off the boat. 17-year-old Tommy was like,
Burning calories.
that's.
How used of a guy with 17-year-old Tommy?
He was such a jerk. The biggest jerk.
Not much different.
So
Pretty much same person.
what's changed?
Such a loser.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a loser. But no, 17-year-old Tommy was a kid. Just a kid, man.
What were you like at 17, Cody?
Well, you couldn't get any thinner than I was, that's for sure.
Skeleton, Scooby.
No, literally.
Really?
Well, 'cause I was distance runner all through high school, right?
Oh, really?
I didn't start even touching weights until I was like 21, 22.
Yeah.
Off, really.
No, yeah. So like all through high school, like track was my thing. Like,
Yeah.
all I did was run. But then during university, like at UW, I also coached track and still kept running.
Yeah.
And like so like all distance races, cross country, that's just what I did.
Yeah.
And then a couple guys, like a couple friends were like, hey, just start working out with us.
Yeah.
And they bugged me for like a year. And then I finally, okay, I'll go to the gym with you.
Yeah.
And then got hooked like instantly.
Nice.
And
Did
then
you first preach girl and you're like,
Preachers.
But no, like,
Don't check
I'll have
me.
to pull up a picture one time and show you guys. I'm talking like when I say twig, like I'm not exaggerating. Like there was nothing to me.
I know I've
seen it
seen
when I
photos
first
of you
saw
from
it.
like Good Life days.
Well, that's when I first started lifting. was
Oh,
kinda like-
really? Okay then, yeah.
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 No, like because all I did was run. Like there was nothing to me.
Do you think like you're nowhere near that level of running, distance running now, or how do you feel about that? Like,
Well,
compared
I
to
definitely
before?
wouldn't be able to. Yeah, like pace wise, I wouldn't be able to do anything close to what I did. But I feel like I still have a decent like
You
build
wanna
like
race?
pace just to do. I could do the distances, but it wouldn't be the
Around
same
here.
speed, right? Like
Once
Do
we
you
get
think
out
you
of
could
space,
get back up to it?
Probably not to the same level.
Yeah, you could do it.
Just shed all your muscle.
Well, I say I like not the weight and like you know what I mean. Like I'm not that big, but like I'm a good 30 to 40 pounds more than I was when I was running, right?
A little man.
So I think when I started lifting, I was under 130.
Wow.
Under 130. I think it was like 125 ish, and like right now I'm between 165 to 170, right? So
It's funny. I don't
Big-
think I was ever under 170.
big difference.
Ever.
You was born.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you like at 17 then, Joe?
Or less the same, spikier hair.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw some spiky hair. I'd like it.
Do you think we could like edit in some photos of younger us?
Yeah, if you guys send me it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have some.
I had a good shaggy hair.
Oh yeah, me too.
I have some old pictures on my IG somewhere down there.
I was always like shaved head or pretty close to it when I was younger.
I was gonna say,
But, yeah, very short hair always.
Let's
and-
bring it back.
Did you have short hair when movement first opened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty
okay.
short
Yeah,
then
he's,
too.
on the website.
Did you see the
Yeah.
drawing?
Oh yeah.
He did an amazing drawing. It was
That-
pretty accurate.
That was yeah, that was like 100%. I almost confused it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
People voted.
Yeah.
Majority voted to look just like me.
Well, I
so-
thought it was a photograph at
Didn't
first.
even have
Yeah.
glasses.
Yeah, for some reason
No-
I put
no
the glasses in
glasses.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagined glasses, but
But people still knew.
people still knew. But yeah, it was quite a good time. Good
Well,
time.
actually, I just posted because shout out Scott.
Shout out to Scott.
Yeah.
Shout out to Scott.
He just reposted and tagged me in that lifting post.
That's
from
what I
Good
what
Life,
I first
right?
saw.
And I actually got so many messages from people being like, "Is that actually you?"
Yeah, you used to be hotter back then.
Like,
Ah.
what happened? But like, yeah, people are like
Wait,
that.
go
That's not
around.
actually you. It's I'm like, yeah, that was me. Like,
Yeah.
It's funny because like the video looks so old, but even though it is old, like our quality was still a little bit better. back then.
Yeah.
that was that was like 6 years ago. So just a little different.
Those were days.
6 years ago. 21.
Well, I wasn't 21 then.
No, 17.
17.
Yeah, serious got
20 was that 2014? Yeah, that's 6 years ago.
2014, yeah.
It's a good year.
Good year.
It's a good year.
Yeah.
Shout out to 2014.
The year Good Life almost banned powerlifting.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They still try.
Because they were rowdy.
Yeah,
Didn't
wow.
you
They
see-
actually tried banning all
Didn't
of
you
us.
see their gang back there?
Well, because that day we held our own mock meet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they
Yeah.
lost it on us.
Really?
I can
Like-
see why they wouldn't. I
Yeah.
can see why any gym.
No, we were respectful.
They
of
were
it,
also
though,
rude.
like,
Squat.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Rack.
Rack.
Woo! Three white lights.
We
Shock
got it.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like Slavic.
Yeah.
Ah.
Slapping each other.
Yeah.
Ammonia everywhere.
No, it wasn't that level. It was more just
What are you
everyone
doing then?
testing
Yeah,
their
is
weights,
it a
right?
walk?
But-
Need the full experience.
But-
Yeah,
Yeah.
convention things like that really, and it's unfortunate because like such big gyms have, it's really hard to control, not even control the members, but to educate all members on
Yeah.
proper lifting movement. So if you got even say 5 members out of the whole club that deadlift like slamming the weights on the ground, then like every time someone puts a deadlift down a little bit louder, people are
Yeah.
gonna come over and be like, hey, you can't deadlift here.
Yeah.
So
Do you think they're slowly being a little more lenient now?
Well, not right now.
Not, yeah, I guess.
I know.
why would
Well,
that?
they're super lenient now. You can do whatever you want.
Anyway.
Do that.
But yeah, I know it's. I think with powerlifting just growing as a sport, it's an impossible course.
Well, like I know when I used to work at the active living center at the UFM, and there was the Greedy Grotto, and there was the ALC, and then they built the gym on the 2nd floor and had the offices on the 1st floor.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea.
And yeah, so every time there was deadlifts, we would always get complaints. So it was always a huge discussion.
Can they just switch?
I'm sorry.
Could they just switch?
It's funny, the
Switch,
school
yeah.
I went to too in Ontario, same thing. It was like such a stupid design.
Yeah,
Like,
I-
why would you plan it that way?
Yeah, right.
Offices right below.
Yeah. And eventually we got like bumper plates and we got mats, and the like it's gonna like our heavy deadlift's gonna make a noise.
Yeah.
I think where we drew the line is if someone was just dropping it from like knee
Yeah.
up, then it's like okay, now you're
Yeah, that's
damaging
that's
the equipment
different,
too.
yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're doing that on purpose.
But yeah, I know it was a huge thing for, at least when I first opened up, because they were still sorting out sort of like the road bumps with the kinks to it, right?
But I feel like that just, even if everyone lifts like wider or more cautious, like that's a stupid design.
It's not gonna make noise because it's gonna
Like,
reverberate.
why would
right?
you? Who would think? Oh, let's put weights above offices.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be okay with this.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, even back then, like just health and fitness hasn't been the prime focus for a while now too. We see it in high schools and stuff. They're like all these kids are learning these actual
Oh, it's so good.
exercises, warm ups and stuff like that. Just a lot of knowledge being passed down. And like when I was in school, and I guess when you guys were too, none of that happened.
I think you and I were talking about that long ago. We're
Yeah.
like, imagine if we had even the teachers that schools have now,
Yeah.
right? The
It's insane.
education that they're actually spending their own time to learn more
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
creating these gyms that are just unreal in
Yeah,
high
They're
school. That,
basically getting personal training.
Yeah.
You're,
Like, in high
well,
school.
or like, and that's a big thing that was like in that CPU coaching course that they talked about was that, or no, but still like they touch on it.
Yeah.
But it was more the weightlifting course that I was at for the NCCP.
Yeah.
And they were talking about that. Still both like great courses, but they were talking about at the higher levels, like you're gonna have great coaches, but you need great coaches at the lower levels.
Yeah.
So like, especially with like Olympic weightlifting, like you're gonna have a great Olympic lifting coach for Team Canada or Team US or Team whatever, any country.
the younger you start with good coaching, the faster you're gonna
Mhm.
progress, right?
Yeah.
We see this a lot in like Olympic lifting and like European and Asian countries, right? Like it's especially Olympic lifting. Yeah.
I went like the Moss strength one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went to that one. That's like, it's insane the amount of like just technique that those people have with like a PVC, because it's incredibly hard to like do a good clean and jerk with a PVC with a snatch.
Yeah.
Because like say with it's like imagine a kettlebell swing with just your arms,
Yeah.
or like with a piece of paper. It's gonna be a lot harder, right?
Yeah.
But you're trying to manipulate just your
Well, you even see that with the squat, right? You get someone to hold even a light weight,
in
their
front.
form looks so much better than going body weight, right?
It's kind of like sits in that position.
Yeah, you just, and I think you're just more aware too.
Yeah.
People think
Yeah.
about it more when you have that little bit of load. So
Yeah, so I know that's a big part of like like I know with me taking a few of those like national coaching courses was to get into a little bit more school programs to like, I don't want to necessarily be like I want to push powerlifting in schools, but like man, to have kids that could squat
Yeah.
and to have like a full nice, because kids have like amazing range of motions, but then they turn into trashy 18-year-olds or 17-year-olds.
so and then you're reteaching it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
but then like if you can learn that,
It's
if
just-
you have a douchey 18-year-old that knows how to squat good, at least they could get hella strong. But if you have a douchey 18-year-old that doesn't squat and then doesn't bench good, they're just gonna ego lift until they die, or get injured or something like that.
And it just when they start earlier too and younger, it just helps them learn like their bodies too much more, like they know what's better for them.
That awareness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that proprioception? or something?
Proprioception. Guys would mean 18. Shut up.
Watch out.
Shout out to AT, yeah.
Watch out, Tommy, he's coming for you.
He's coming for it. He's got it. But yeah, I think that's a like in every aspect, like nutrition, everything like that. And you agree, like the earlier you kind of have those big discussions, and I think movement's such a big part of it, especially like younger sports that everyone's like, oh, don't do resistance training. You know, you're so young, focus on
Yeah.
this. So you're focusing on sports that a lot of those motor patterns are causing them injuries because they're bad at it.
Or even from a nutrition standpoint, like a good chunk of the teams and athletes I work with are like in their anywhere from middle school to high school or just entering university. And like I noticed that the older ones tend to have a better base knowledge, but there's still a lot of like misconceptions or assumptions that you find. And it's still in the older ones, right? When we actually go over some of the basics, they don't realize that they're missing those basics. It seems obvious until you actually talk about it, and then they start realizing, oh, you know what? I never actually thought about this in this way. So, for example, everyone knows to drink water, right? But they didn't really realize like, shout out to water. But like they don't realize like, timing or like, if you're sweating a lot, you need more, or
Yeah.
what an electrolyte is,
Yeah,
or
potentially
even
supplementation with water.
yeah,
something
or,
like
or,
that.
or even
Like I mean, like I'm talking about like water cuts and like
Yeah.
some, like, clients and that.
well, not even like getting to the point of a water cup, but even like what are the signs of dehydration? How does dehydration actually affect you? So I'll ask like, what are signs of dehydration, or how does dehydration affect you? And they're like,
It's hard for me to
you
stick
feel
handle.
tired.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm like, well, you have poor technical ability, reduced endurance, poor physical performance, increased risk of heat illness or heat stroke, right? So
And then
things
you're
like that.
dehydrated on top of that.
Yeah. And then like with the younger ones, like they don't even like know some of the basics, right? Like oh, like what is this kind of food, or what's a superfood, or is there like a best diet? I'm like, no, not necessarily, right?
Mhm.
And then all of it, like you have the basics, like eat your fruits and vegetables, but kind of like how you two were mentioning earlier, a lot of some of it is just figuring out your own body, and they're not necessarily aware that they need to try things out, or they don't know the guidelines. So usually when I teach these younger athletes, I always emphasize that these performance enhancing nutrition things that I'm teaching you, they're not like a be all end all or black or white. They're guidelines, right? And it's your job as athletes and myself as an educator is to help you take those guidelines and adapt it to yourself. So starting off with that research and making it work for your lifestyle and for your sport, right?
Yeah, it's definitely like I find like dietitians are definitely against it with like educating and implementing, because you can have like the greatest nutrition session with like a big group of athletes, and then just the convenience of, or not even the convenience, like what's at home.
Yeah.
Maybe they go home and they don't have any of that, so and then like 2
Yeah.
days pass and they just get into that same.
Yeah.
Whereas like say as a strength and conditioning coach, more often than not, if that same athlete is going to train with me every single day,
Yeah.
so I'm going to be able to like, no, this is what's best for you. This is what we're going to do, and every single time they're doing something, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
But you're obviously not going to be there like every time that fork comes into the company.
Well, I bought some binoculars recently.
Yeah. So there you go.
Hey!
Send them a text right away.
I see you.
I see what you're eating.
See what you're eating.
Put it down. Or not eating.
Not eating. Did you get that from Joe Smokey?
Stop eating Joe's
Eating Joe's meat.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, it's a really interesting thing. Like nutrition can be very straightforward and also not, just because you have that variation in background, right? So like with strength and conditioning, it's like, okay, we know to lift weights, we know to do this and that, but what is the person's injury history? What are their goals? What are they good at? What are they not good at? Right? Put it on paper. What does it look like?
Yeah, and then like, what's their stress level? What's their life circumstances? Everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much more things to consider in the background.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Is that how we're just finishing the podcast?
Yeah. We didn't even say end.
We're just done.
Thanks guys for coming out. It's day 7 in the basement. I want to give a shout out to all the dietitians on the front lines during this crisis we know nothing about, because we've been in here for the last 7 days. Hopefully the roof doesn't cave in on us.
It may as well. A couple of these towels fell.
Oh, hey.
Don't worry, we're gonna maintain a distance.
A wide girth.
Wide girth.
Yes.
Yeah, as wide as Joe's meats.
Oh.
Well, cut that.
And
it's over.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.